Alright, hey everyone, welcome to another Will Witch RP live play TTRPG session. What is Will Witch RP? Well, that's me, Faye, game master and storyteller, and Lachlan, our writer and producer. We're a couple who love sharing stories, so much so that we quit our day jobs and created our own company, so that way we could create high quality and exciting TTRPG experiences full time and share them with you. And tonight we're playing D&D. This session features D&D's Shadow of the Dragon Queen, a riveting adventure of courage and valor, where our intrepid heroes face unbeatable odds in a cataclysmic war. Oh, nope. It seems I forgot to turn off things. I will get to that very
No,
quickly.
no, 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 no.
Yep, we're
We need
turning.
assistance.
Nope, we're turning those things off. With us at the table, we do have several of the incredible players who have joined us on our grand endeavor. If you'd like to play alongside them, you're more than welcome to join us. You can ask in chat or hop over to our Discord to find out more information. Now, speaking of our awesome players, it's time for introductions. Like I said, I'm Faye, game master and storyteller. With me is Sirenscape, bringing all of our background music and game master and storyteller. Sirenscape's here, bringing all of our background music and story and sounds effects. I'm so torn up and twisted after seeing that message. God damn it, from board. It's a fantastic and affordable sound collection you can find at sirenscape.com. And now let us meet our courageous, daring heroes as they prepare for a very important test. And we'll begin with an introduction for Vass.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm playing Bath. He is a devilishly handsome tiefling bard rogue who has found himself accidentally stumbling across the multiverse. This week's fun fact for Bath, I believe in a previous fact I said he didn't like the cold. So because it's getting to be that time of year, it inspired this one. He has no use for skiing. He thinks that cold days are meant to be spent indoors in front of the fire uh, under a warm blanket with a companion and a hot butter drum.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Amazing. Uh, can I summon Psychesis? Maybe. We'll see. Um, Next up for our introductions, let's learn about Hugh.
Hi, I'm Stefan. I'm playing Hugh DeVere. He's flashy, he's flamboyant, he's a fencer, he's ambiguously French, and I'm gonna switch out of doing my prepared fun fact to riff on Vass's to say that Hugh is a guy who, when it's snows out, he walks around in short sleeves and pretends that it doesn't bother him at all.
Oh, I love it.
I get to absorb elements in.
Oh, that's amazing. Of course Hugh would be that guy. So fitting. I love it. Next up for our introductions, let's learn about Rhubarb.
All right, I am front board, and I am playing Rhubarb Bafflewander, aka Rue. He is a forest gnome sorcerer hailing from the island of Sandcrest, far to the west of our setting. Um, and I imagine it, so verdant and green there. I will riff off fast as well and say, like, maybe Rhubarb doesn't get snow in Sandcrest, but he sees it up on the mountain of like Mount Nevermind, and his rock gnome brothers get snowed in. But Rue does not have snow days in Sandcrest in the forests there.
Amazing. And then last but not least, let's learn of Victoria.
I'm I am very confused as to why we're all talking about snow. Um, I'm Kate. I'm playing Victoria. Victoria is a tall Knight of the Rose, Slammic Knight. She's also a champion of Paladin. She has his symbol etched on her shield, and she wears his holy symbol. On her chainmail, her one shoulder guard is obviously from a suit of plainmail.
Alrighty. And with that, our introductions are complete, and we are able to return to Kryn, to Ansalon, and currently to a ruined apartment underneath the grounds, where you had met a ancient elven figure who spoke of being around during the fall of this city. The city of lost names. She introduced herself as Demelin, and has offered to conduct a test of high sorcery for rhubarb. It is the place you are bound towards, it seems, is more unforgiving than one might expect. No place for novices, she said. But you have had a rough fight just to get this far. And it seems that, as Rue wishes to have you all at his side during this very important test, while there is a way for her to do so, it will take time. She needs to brew elixirs. And so you have some time to rest. Is there anything this period of rest that you wish to highlight? Any sort of conversations or thoughts leading up to what might be beyond, not just in the test, but waiting in the city itself? Or do you wish to ruminate on some of the challenges that you have so far overcome?
What should we know about these tests, Rue?
I don't know. I've only heard what Wyans said about the test and then what Demelin said about the test, that it'll test my spirit. And other than that, I don't have any training with these mages. I barely even have the authorization to practice magic from them, apparently.
Okay, then. All right.
I mean,
Well,
did you know what you were going to get into with the test to become the Knight of Solamnia back in Calamon?
kind of. I mean, like, I've been a knight or I've aspired to be a knight, and I've been in training for years. I've been around. I was raised with knights. So there's always stories and preparation.
Oh, we were raised, I guess, outside the jurisdiction of the mages. We've heard of them in Sanchrist, but it's like Lavender or whoever, right? You don't bother them, they don't bother you. Most of my kind, we get some powers from the forest, but it's not enough to threaten or draw the attention of this mages.
I'm glad that you're choosing to take the test and be associated. I hear terrible things about renegades.
Yeah. I mean,
Try not to glance Vass's way.
I was waiting for that. Vass is spending his time listening to Rue speaking with Victoria and trying to piece together everything he's heard about this topic, and he's still there's his understanding is still Swiss cheese. It's all full of holes. But he's trying to just connect the dots.
yeah, Victoria, I just don't have really any idea what to expect. So we we go in or wherever and we try and get out? Or whatever.
Which I guess is about as much as we ever know about what we're doing.
When in doubt, attack. It's always worked for me.
Sometimes maybe not attacking could be useful as well. I believe in balance. But I'll help you attack as much as you feel the need to attack.
We'll do our best to support you.
Rue's kind of maybe like it's like an intrigued thought, I think, because it's like you've got this 140-year-old like great granddad here listening to these like three young folks, or what he assumes are young, and to hear them say that they're supporting him and got him, he's maybe not completely used to that. He's used to being kind of the elder supporting figure for people from his tribe. They look to him for certain levels of guidance and support.
Meanwhile, you're
That's how we
in
grow.
the presence of a figure who is quite old.
Their claims are to be believed. They're probably just like, oh man, these do-gooders beat all of my guards. Let's spin them a lie and then poison them.
I mean,
That's
that's
the
what you want to believe. Now, during the night, if anyone has questions, DeMelanie's up. You may speak to her. Ask her what she might know, what she might be willing to share.
Are these tests dangerous?
They can be. There
That's what we're
has
gonna need.
been more than one death accounted for in regards to the test.
We're really gonna need Rue on the other side.
You are perhaps at less risk than Rhubarb. The potions will connect you to Rhubarb's energy.
Victoria's gonna look at her. Woo. There's risk to us, not just to Rue.
You are going to enter into a state that relies on the mind and the spirit, where the magic is strongest. You are not being tested. Your companion is. But he has requested your strength. Your risk is lessened. You will likely not die. You've not seen any supporters perish.
Victoria's gonna glance at Hugh like, are you hearing this?
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
All the while, Demelin is still, like, brewing potions. Like, she's not looking up as she's answering these questions.
Mm.
This is during the long rest, right?
Correct.
I imagine Rue's sleeping then.
So, if there are no more questions, if you've not already pressed your long rest button, you can do so. And morning comes. It is not to the warm smell of any sort of delectable breakfast. Demelon, it seems, takes very simple meals, prepared very simply. And eats with purpose. There's no pause, there's no flair. What's done is done and necessary. There are 4 potions of a very sort of thick looking elixir. It's green in its color, and each bottle is corked.
Do we have to say any magic words or anything when we drink it?
No, but I would recommend you find somewhere comfortable. There is a heavy sedative in them.
Oh. Aren't we in like ruins?
There's a tilt to the ground, but the apartment is furnished. It's just old and decrepit.
Some might say ruined.
Like, how far do we have to be away? Like, that chair back in the study with the dragon was comfortable for me.
If you wish to head to a place such like this, but you should all be close together, and I would suggest being here, as there is ways that I can easily account and assist should something happen.
Probably stay there.
Oh yeah, I see she has chairs and a sofa in her apartment too. I could just hang out there.
Yeah. You were standing next to the couch during the fight with the elemental.
I know. I had one eye on her and one eye on the elemental. Remember, chameleon style?
That's right.
So Vass was this close to putting some of the Red Bull root into this potion, but now that he knows that it has a sedative effect, maybe he shouldn't be mixing those two things. So he puts that back into his bag.
Amazing.
Yeah. Demelon, are we going to know that we're in the test?
You will be aware, yes.
Okay.
I can only do so much in this form of the test. If it were solely you, Rhubarb, the area that I can craft would be less malleable. But this will now be influenced by not just your subconscious, but that of your companions.
Alright, I take it all back. It's just me that. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, the area where this dream we're going into is going to reflect all of us?
It can. There is potential there. My control of what you will see is not absolute. And then it will respond to your actions as well.
Tori will get a little bit of a worried look, but then it'll be all right. She's just gonna lay down on the floor and like prop her head on her backpack. Be like, okay.
And as
Potion
you
in one hand, holy symbol of Paladine in the other.
shield nearby just in case. It is when you and your companions are ready, Rhubarb, that I will administer the test.
If I don't make it out, tell Wyan I said thank you.
The shopkeeper?
Yes,
Okay.
she sent me down this path in some way,
Oh,
and I thank her for this path.
okay. If you don't make it, I'll make sure she gets that message.
You're gonna be fine. You've got a frog.
Does he's like reaches into his shroud pocket and massages the frog. I don't know, is that the right word? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, you reach it in his pocket, massaging the frog. Yeah.
The other words that come to my mind sound probably not safe for stream, so let's just say massage the frog. Which also doesn't sound safe for the stream.
It's always the old guys.
I need to get that into out of context. Oh my god. So you can find places of comfort. You each have a potion. And when you are ready, you drink.
Yep. Bottoms up, pop the cork, drink the potion.
He was so excited he didn't actually undo the cork at first, so he had to do it again.
I love it. There is very little time before you feel the elixir beginning to draw you closer and closer to an unconscious state, deeper than any sleep you have knowingly walked into. This is the deep sleep that comes long after you are unconscious. But before you head under, you see the spectral green flames that trace the wall as Demelin raises her hands. Rhubarb, it is you who kind of focus in on her eyes, almost like there is a charm drawing you to them. Her eyes begin to glow. This is your most important trial. Your most important question. As the flames dance around the room, swirling between each of you as you get closer to that unconscious state. This is the time to find out who you are. Just before you slip under, there is a flash of green light, and you can feel almost the ground shifting beneath you. There is wind, the wind that lashes at your face, and the air fills with screams. As your vision clears and you're now conscious, you're above the clouds. As you're standing at the edge of an exquisite floating city, graceful marble spires, and all around you, people flee as dragons dive from the sky, tearing swaths of destruction. As you're looking around, trying to figure out where you might be, if you know what you're looking at, all of a sudden you see a gleam of light off of silver scales as this draconic figure rises in the sky and strafes the street ahead of you. You see not just buildings, but people fleeing, running in fear, frozen under the ice of its breath. As you look around, you would notice, just at the edges of the city, a dreary fog. Beyond what you can see, within it are lightning flashes. And then the screams of terror, the roars of wrath. The buildings crumple around you, and the fires run with violet flames.
Like violet, like from the crypt in Kalamon?
Yeah, violet like from the crypt in Kalamon.
I don't know.
Though these do seem to be hot and destructive flames, not just illusory.
So there's destruction everywhere around us. Are my companions here too, or is it just
Yeah,
rhubarb?
you're
right now?
all seeing each other, and you're all seeing the people fleeing and the dragons that die from the sky. You don't know if that young dragon is going to return, the one that just froze the figures.
Are they close enough that we can see if there's a way we can unfreeze these figures?
There are people that are frozen well within the breath. Like, this is like an icicle jutting out. And this is only one instance. You can see other marks of different dragon breaths throughout this city as it is being destroyed and attacked. There are many people that are dead, dying, and those that are still alive are trying to survive.
I feel like we need to try and help these people the best that we can. They seem helpless against this attack. This is what's going to happen to all of us if the dragon army gets its way and gets its power.
We can't stop this attack. Like, we're talking about a massive number of dragons, right?
Yeah, enough to take out
Yeah.
a city.
Yeah, and it's a floating city. Is this not? Is this the past? Is this? This is what she's saying to Rue. Is this like an image of the past? Wasn't this floating city? Isn't that where aren't we in the ruins of it? Come on, Craig. That part she didn't say.
Was it called Istar?
That was a
Anyari.
different city.
Anyari was the city, Ishtar was the nation.
Does it seem like a place that I would have heard about, passed down through history?
You've never heard the name Anyari before. Not before
Yeah.
Jamelin, who introduced herself as such. Well, actually, hold on. Roll for me a history check here real quick.
That's a 2. That tracks.
Nope, you've never heard Anyari before.
I mean, I don't know, Victoria. I have never heard of Anyari before.
You. It's not much, but you did hear the name Anyari before, from the ghost at Wakenrath of the Elven Warrior. The one that asked you about, her kin, who was the ambassador.
That's right. This is elf stuff, guys. I relate that to them.
Did these figures in this city appear elven?
Most of them appear human, actually. There are elves present, but, it's like most any other place. There are mixed lineages, but it does seem primarily human.
I guess if any person runs by close enough, I would like to stop them and see if they can provide any information, like, where did this attack come from? Do you know who started it? Where are you fleeing to? How can we help?
I want you to roll for me a persuasion at disadvantage, because you are trying to stop people who are in a frantic state.
12.
You need to get out of here. Just run. I don't know what's going on. And this figure just runs. And you can see it's much the same throughout everybody. But as you're looking around, and I'm assuming that you're kind of moving through the streets as they're doing this. Maybe not like quick or with purpose, because you don't know what's going on here, but I would imagine that you're not staying stationary. Just because of the essence of what's going on. Roll for me a perception check.
Paladin.
Hey, look at that, Paladin. So, it is everyone except for Victoria that immediately spots this. There is a building that is crumpling into a mess of violet and obsidian. And it looks regal. It looks holy, almost. As you recognize this as a temple to a goddess. And Rue, with your 20, you know that this is a temple of Lunatari. You see priestess and priests, all sorts of acolytes, swathed in red robes, trying to leave this crumbling structure. In their hands, a collection of ancient scrolls and maps. And then you hear it. There is the sound of the dragon, that silver one that you had seen, rising up. And as it is getting closer to where you are spotting this, you would notice about the same distance, but in a different direction, a larger group of innocents trying to move. Amongst them, well, likely a portion of what you had imagined, that subconsciousness. You see faces that look like Becklin and Cudgel. Figures that look like Hope and Patina. They're not your friends, you know this. But they look like them. And as the dragon is rearing up, you have time to save one group. Or yourselves. What do you do?
Wait, for ourselves or ourselves?
Or yourselves. You could try and save a group. One or the other. You could try and just save yourselves. What do you do?
And this is, I'm largely unaware of this at this moment.
Well, you would be aware of course, of the dragon appearing and the group of figures. You just hadn't noticed the Lunatari temple and the figures there that are trying to get the scrolls out.
Okay. I think Victoria's going to look at the group of people and be like, get out of the street, and start running towards them.
Alright.
Bass would have been going towards Bettina and Hope and the others as well.
This is a very tough decision.
Who gets decision paralysis and then just goes to whichever one's closer to him.
They're both about equidistance, which is why it's a choice. There's a reason why it's a test.
I think he goes to the civilians.
They're all civilians.
Oh yeah, the crowd. He would do a utilitarian calculation on most people.
I think that Rhubarb would go toward the acolytes.
Okay.
He's had Lunatari with him his whole life. Always seeing her up in the heavens. And I think he feels the need to preserve her glory, her word. As much as the faces are familiar, they're still recently familiar. And Lunatari's always been there for him. So now's his chance to return the favor and be there for her.
It is moments, heartbeats, instinct takes over as each of you turn to act. Victoria, Vax, you run towards the large crowd. You call warnings, and you move in to try and help. Rhubarb, you're guided in a different direction. Towards the scholars and those devoted to the Lady of the Red Moon. And above you, uncaring of this moral plight, that dragon that returned unleashes its breath. You, of course, have the standard here of action. A Constitution saving throw as the ice comes forward. Or, if you have any sort of creative applications, say of magic or skills that you would like to utilize here to try and protect those figures that you are heading towards. It will be at risk of your own self, but you will maybe be able to change something. Make a mark. At least in this replayed memory. So once again I ask, what are you doing? And we'll start with the large group. Victoria, you are the first to move. Do you just shield up, try and take the cold, save yourself potentially from some of the damage, or do you try and do something to help those in front of you that you run towards?
I think that she has to rely on her faith in Paladine, so she's going to get as many of them within her aura of protection possible, which is 10 feet of her, just to try and get them protected. She can't really do much more to protect them.
All right,
So-
then what I want for you to do is I want you to roll an athletics check, and that'll determine how many people that you are going to be able to get into your aura.
Oh, snap!
Natural 20, heck yeah. So, normally, because you are doing something here at a detriment to yourself, this now con save, it would be at disadvantage, but because of that natural 20, I'll cancel it back out to a normal Constitution saving throw for the iciness.
yeah.
So go ahead, roll that.
Okay, alright.
Alright. Unfortunately, a 13's not quite enough. So you will take the full 54 points of cold damage. But you can see that there are all these people around you now that are hunkering in under this. You can see almost a gleaming golden aura around you from Paladine. You can feel.
She'll whisper her thanks through numb frosted lips.
Okay. Vass, you are the next in line, rushing over towards the larger group. What are you doing?
So, Vass would like to use Major Image to have it look like he's casting a massive wall of fire around as many of the civilians as he can get, in the hopes that maybe the dragon might change direction a bit and be like, oh, never mind, I'll maybe go over here instead.
So this is let me make sure that you are clear. This is you in the moments of the breath being released. So it's happening. It's, are you trying to focus on saving yourself, so making your Constitution saving throw at normal, or are you expending energy to save the other people in creative ways? So like if you use like burning hands perhaps over the ducking heads of people, you'd end up taking a disadvantage to your con save because you're not focusing on yourself, but you might save other people. That's just one way I can think of it. If you have something else, you can of course apply that as well. Skills, spells, anything you've got that you can think of. But this is something that is happening. I'm just giving you a sort of time slows down, what are you doing, heroic moment. Potentially.
Okay, if I don't have much time, I had been considering doing burning hands in some way. So I think instinctually the Vass would put his hands out and try and somehow counteract some of the cold.
Okay. So as you rush in towards these figures, you can see as they're sort of hunkering down, trying to brace themselves for the ice that is coming, and you stand tall here, hands out instinctually as you call upon that natural fire. Go ahead, roll the damage for that, and I will take that into account, and then for your Constitution save...
11.
All right, and then your Constitution save is going to be at disadvantage against the cold here.
Okay. That's not too
18,
bad.
yeah, so 18 is enough. So you'll take half of that 54 points of damage, and you can also take another 11 points off of that from your burning hands. That'll negate some more damage.
That's 16.
Yep, 16.
Cool.
Ice cold. And you can see that there's steam from where your magic and the draconic breath had struck against each other. You are also running towards these large this large group of figure. What is it
Large
that you...
group of figure?
Yeah, large group of figure. It's one of it's the first of one that's also appeared in my vocabulary. But yeah, so as you're running, what is it that you are trying to do in this sort of freeze frame moment where everything is happening at once?
Trying to shield people with my body and use absorb element to
Okay.
Be resistant to the cold.
All right. So I want this to be a athletics check to see how many people you can get in front of.
7.
All right. You can't get in front of as perhaps many as you want, but any is better than none. So as you rush in, shield ready, as you stand to defend this, your Constitution save is going to be at disadvantage, but you'll be resistant to the cold from your absorb elements.
Sorry, it was like what save?
Constitution save. Disadvantage.
Okay. With disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate because I just got 21
I know.
and then 11.
So unfortunately, the 11's not quite enough. So that's 54 normal, but you are going to be using your absorb element, so you get that boost of resistance, and you only take 27. And as the sort of spell radiates outward, all three of these actions happening in the same moment. People are surviving because of your actions. But our viewpoint is going to shift, because a fourth set of actions is happening at the same time. Rhubarb, you are running towards these scholars, towards these acolytes, these people who have walked a path so similar to yours and yet so different. They are trying to save what looks to be texts, lunar charts, star maps, important things to this temple, as it is being destroyed not only by whatever rages from the dragons above, but fires and that obsidian energy that is causing everything to crumble and break. There's not many of them. What is it that you are doing as the ice rains down from the sky?
So it's like the same ice breath attack coming into the whole area, just like the others.
Yeah, it's this strafing across. It's like hitting the entirety in a line as this creature flies above. So you're just in a different area for the same attack. This is that same slowed down moment.
I feel like I need to riff off what Vass was doing with the fire, and try and project my own fire attack back at this breath and counteract it with a fireball.
Okay. Roll the damage on that, please.
Okay, let me just do my 3rd level spell first. And hopefully get it away from the range of everybody so that they don't get singed. It's a 23, but I'm gonna use my sorcery point to reroll a 1, a 2, a 2, and a 2. So what was that? 7 turns into 14, so 23 minus 7, 16. 30 points of fire damage.
All right. So, in that moment, as you send this fireball up, your Constitution save is going to be at disadvantage.
It's nice knowing you. Oh, and almost hit advantage.
Mhm.
That's a dirty 20, though.
Okay. So you would take the half damage, which would be 27, but your fireball negates it. And that is, as you had 30 points of damage, so 9 comes through. With your quick casting here, Rhubarb, as you send this upwards, the entire area around the Lunitari acolytes, it's covered in some misty rains that come down. And again, you hear that crack of thunder in the distance from the fog just outside of your eyes, but as the dragon skirts away, what do? When you notice, looking around you, that you're a little bit separated from your group. But you see these figures that are still trying to get away from the burning building, the burning temple.
How many figures are trying to get away from the temple?
4.
4. I really want to help them get away. And not be split up from my party. But I can't speed all of them up. if I tried haste? Decisions. I kind of want to speed. Yeah. We'll save who we can. Rue's gonna turn to the two that are closest. Actually, no, maybe the two that seem like they're kind of lagging behind, if they are lagging behind, and say, you need to get all of that stuff out of here as quick as you can, and he's gonna twin spell haste on those two to try and give them a chance to get out of here quicker than they normally would.
Okay.
Burning 2 my spell slots. But I think I can use 1 less sorcery point on that through my lunar boon, whatever it's called.
Okay. It's at this point as you cast that and they nod as they begin to work on getting outwards. And the rest of you are trying to help those that survived from this larger group. That you hear a crack. And the ground begins to sort of shift a bit here. Not just from the wind and the way that you fly through in this city under this attack, but that obsidian that you had seen before seems to absorb more and more magic, becoming restless, hungry, growing, and anything it touches it seems to consume. And Rhubarb, you are the closest to this obsidian hunger. The rest of you, of course, turn and would spot your gnomish companion with the streaks of red in his hair as he is staring at this massive orb, this shadow, wreathed in violet flame. And we'll see what you all do and how you all respond to this after our ad break. So, we will be back to continue our story and continue our test. See how our heroes choose which paths they follow. But before we do so, I just ask that you let the ads run as we're heading out here. They help us a ton here on our channel. They help keep our games affordable. But if you want to directly support us, you are always welcome to do so. You can do that through my Ko-fi, link for that's on screen and in our chat room. These donations not just support us at Will Witch RP, they unlock awesome perks for our entire community, perks that benefit people who play with us through the next month, including special companions, double treasure, double XP, and new quests. So, hang around. We'll see you all very soon. We return as you all see what perhaps could be a mounting horror. The sphere of this darkness growing and consuming amongst the rest of the wreckage and ruins. And Rue, you are face to face with it as it begins to grow.
Oh.
You have successfully cast the spell upon the Lunatari acolytes who, with this extra boost, are able to start making their way to safety, helping the others. Vash, Hugh, Victoria, due to your efforts, you are able to save not all, but a good fraction of the larger group. But it is in these brief moments as you heard the cracking of the stone and you felt the street judder beneath you, that the three of you would notice Rue did not join you. And when you look, you see where he is, close to that darkened sphere. And it is at this moment, due to a heightened sense of danger. As again, you don't know if that dragon will return. I'm going to ask for everyone to roll for me an initiative.
Interesting.
Oh,
Oh, Hugh, you broke the streak. It's alright.
Alright, so the first to act in our initiative is going to be Rhubarb. And you see this? What is it that you would like to do here?
How far away from the blah 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 blah. How far away from the sphere am I?
Oh, you're about 30 feet, but this thing is growing, and you're not quite sure what's causing it to grow. You could, of course, spend an action to try and figure that out. But it doesn't seem to be held by bounds.
How far away are my companions?
At this point, probably about 90 or so feet, because you had to go in different directions for the groups.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't like a quarter mile away. Is the path between me and them relatively safe, or did you say there's like this black obsidian stuff on the ground as well?
No, the obsidian is just the sphere. There is the fire and the wreckage and the frozen thing, so it's not a clear path by all means. But you don't have the obsidian, whatever it is, to worry about.
I'm still concerned with at least trying to hold up my concentration for a little while to let that haste do as much good as it can for those acolytes. I think that Rhubarb would probably want to try and get closer to his allies and out of immediate range of this sphere, so it would turn and use his Fey powers to Misty Step 30 feet. Is it 30 feet? Is that how long far that goes?
Yeah.
That's a bonus action, huh?
It is.
Yeah. And then for an action, I'm not looking back at this thing at this point.
Or
Okay.
you go too far from that.
Mhm.
You are casting a spell in an environment that is no longer friendly towards spellcasting. You have an option here. You can risk damage, or you can risk exhaustion.
Let's risk damage.
Okay. As you cast your spell, please take what is it? That's going to be 8 points of necrotic damage. It cannot be reduced in any way. And you would all notice the sphere grow larger as Rue gets closer to you.
save for my concentration, I guess, on that haste.
You do.
Alright. Come on, mage buddies. That's a 16, so that passes.
And we'll pass. Yep.
Okay. And then... Alright. Rue doesn't see it because he's misty stepping.
Yeah, you're facing
Facing.
away from it, but everyone who is looking at Rue, as Rue casts this misty step, you can watch as a portion of the magic seems to be sucked inwards to this obsidian sphere, and it grows larger, consuming more of the crumbling temple, more of the street, more of the structures around.
I use my action to dash 50 feet to
Yeah.
get closer, so I guess I would have closed 80 feet total across
So-
all that.
10 feet away from the rest of you, as you will see this. Vass, what is it you would like to do?
So does that sphere look like it is solid, or that it's like made out of energy?
Hard to say for sure. It is a opaque sphere, so you just look at it and you see solid black. It's hard to even see the curves of it, but
What's above it? Anything, or just open air?
it's more like the open air. Everything that it seems to, that may have once been above it, seems to have fallen in either the fighting or in this thing's expansion.
There was something I wanted to do, but I now I don't know if I should be doing that. So instead, oh gosh, could I just click my heels together and levitate up a little bit to see if I can just get a better view of what's going on in the area, get a better picture?
How high do you levitate?
The 20 feet that I think I can go.
Okay.
Is that the distance? Yeah, 20 feet.
Okay. As you look from a bird's eye, you see more dragons of various sizes. All the way to what must be very old, very large dragons as they attack this city. There are more flames, there's more fog at the distant edges of this memory that you live in this moment. There doesn't seem to be more of these black spheres, however. There just seems to be the one.
Okay. Did I get any sort of a better look at the sphere?
Just the sphere, and that it's consuming the things around it.
Okay. I guess I can't come back down now because I'm just stuck floating here until my next turn. So with my bonus action, I'll give a bardic inspiration to Rue, which is a D8, and I'll just convey what I saw. There's lots of dragons, guys. They're all coming, big, small, all kinds. Not good.
Victoria,
Yes.
it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Is it allowed to run over and grab Rue and run back and then as much farther as I can get?
If Rue is willing to be picked up?
It's worked in the past. You climbed me up those walls and away from the what were the draconians in that keep.
Yeah. Okay. So she has 35 movement and plus, I mean, more movement from running, right? So, which I guess is 70. She'll run back, grab him, and then go and shout at the others like, "We gotta get away from this thing."
That's what I'm trying to do.
Victoria runs, holding Rue.
She's like covered in splotches of frost and frostbite, which
You.
is, I guess, hard to see against her very, very pale skin.
She already looks like a corpse. I'm sorry, did I say that?
Ooh.
It's good looking corpse. It's all right.
Hugh, as it comes to your turn, Victoria has Rue in her arms and is running. Vass is in the air, 20 feet up. The orb is expanding. What are you doing?
I am going to use my 45 feet of walking and climbing to also make my speediest retreat. It appears that I can't particularly help any of my companions.
The orb grows another 5 feet in its diameter. You hear the sounds again of the buildings crumbling. You hear the screams in the distance, the roars of dragon's breath. Vast, this high up, you can almost hear wings coming closer to you. Rhubarb, do you do anything within Victoria's grasp here? Do you try and get out, or do you feel content letting her carry you?
I imagine that she like picked him up and is like kind of cradling him. Maybe he's even like kind of got his legs wrapped around her like a child. So he'd be
Like
looking back.
over her shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, like he'd be looking back at the orb. So I'd like to suss it out if I can now.
Yeah, I'll say, give me, for this, a Arcana check.
Ooh, I'm really good at those. Now I have a feature too where I can use sorcery points to pass failed checks, but I don't know if it works if I don't know if I failed the check. So let's just take the Arcana check and see what happens. That's a nat 1.
I'll let you use that feature here.
So let me spend a sorcery point to reroll that, and hopefully we get something better. Like a 17.
Now, you said that this, like, is it just allowing you to reroll on a failed one, or does it force a success?
It allows you to reroll. Let me just find where the features. It is called. Oh boy. There's too many. Where'd it go? Where is it? Magical guidance. When you make an ability check that fails, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll the 20, and you must use the new roll, potentially turning the failure into a success. So I just have a set. Actually, I'm gonna use my bardic on that as well,
Okay.
just in case. It's a D8, so we turn that to a dirty 21.
What you're looking at is strange. Because everything that you are seeing makes you think that this is a sphere of annihilation. But those are typically small, contained. This seems to have gotten out of hand. And with what you have seen so far, it seems to be fostered by the rampant magic here. It's consuming it, making it larger, more unstable. At some point, it's probably going to give, and you do not want to be nearby when that thing explodes.
Yeah,
That
I
is
guess
what you will get with a 21.
Rue will probably have to shout that out because Vass is 50, 60 feet back and 20 feet up. And just say it's absorbing the magic all around us. It's absorbing the magic we're casting. It's gonna blow up at some point unless we either get out of here or we can stop it. That's probably all I got. forgot if that was my action.
Vass, you can hear bits and pieces of what Rue is saying to you over the din of this calamitous excursion. Roll for me a perception check just to see how much you get.
Okay. Natural 20 for a 23.
You get most all of it. There's still, of course, some that is just drowned out by over everything that you're hearing. But you know that you are not in a good spot right now.
Mhm.
What do you do?
Yep. Well, I would like to use my action to click my heels again and descend to the earth, and then I would like to use my action to move 30 feet and my bonus action to dash another 30 feet in the direction of my companion.
Alrighty. Then it seems that our party here is in the inclinations of getting yourselves to safety. Or getting your closest companions to safety. And seeing that iffy face from Rue.
Seems fair.
I mean, I've got another inkling, but I don't know if I want to try it or not. We'll see.
Well, tell me what it is right now.
I mean, knowing that this thing is like consuming magic, like Rue's wondering if he could like dispel it or dispel magical effects in the area with dispel magic to like either shunt its growth or stop it or at least slow it down somehow. That's all. Because I'm worried like if I cast dispel magic, I'm casting a spell which would kind of fuel it, but I could also potentially dispel magical effects it's consuming, which could slow it down in some way.
Why don't you give me a try?
Also, do I have enough spell slots to do that? That's at 3rd level. Hey, why not? This is the Testify Sorcery.
You can always upcast a spell as well.
I know. True that. If we upcast Dispel, does that do anything? It ends... Oh, it just ends spell levels that are higher.
And it allows for DM creativity.
This is true. Hey, why not? Why not? Let's
supply
cast...
the clay, I'll make the sculpture.
And, like, seeing that Dispel Magic says that it's, like, one creature, object, or magical effect within range, I think that the thing I see the most is probably the object. Unless I see magical effects related to the object. But probably not, and so I would probably try and dispel it, or if it has some sort of aura, the aura around it.
Okay.
And we'll do it, let's upcast it, let's use a 4th level, and do a 4th level Dispel Magic instead of a 3rd level. Giving you more clay to work with, Faye.
Why don't you paint me a picture here, Rhubarb, of how you cast this spell?
Oh man, I'm riding on Victoria still. What does Dispel Magic look like? It says verbal and somatic. So I imagine I'm like bouncing around and like kind of gesturing over like maybe over Victoria's arms. And I feel like the command word that Rue would use would be something like trying to get this thing to diminish or disappear, like diminish in size or disappear. I'm going to like League of Legends, like Sona doing like a diminuendo or something, like almost like magical and song related in a way to coerce this thing, almost like resonate at a certain level that just makes it kind of want to collapse in on itself, but not explode. Gently collapse in on itself.
Well, hell is paved with good intentions, right? The road to hell. You send this magic out across the area as you are carried by your companions as your group runs away, runs to safety, runs alongside the other survivors of this city, all trying to get away. Your intention here, Rhubarb, is just to buy a little bit more time. You throw what magic you can at this thing, and again, the area that you are in is no longer friendly to your magic. Do you risk the damage, or do you risk exhaustion?
Let's risk exhaustion.
You gain 1 level of exhaustion.
I don't even know what that does.
You have disadvantage on all of your ability checks.
Okay.
And as your spell reaches out, immediately you know that this thing is too rampant with magical power to be fully diminished here. But you are a sorcerer. You have traveled and you have utilized your capabilities well, alongside your companions, who you have asked to be here to help you out with this. As you call upon many trials and tribulations you have faced in your short time, though it feels like forever, I'm sure. You see just a small shifting of the orb. It diminishes some, causing more of the area around to crumble and fall. And then I want everyone to make for me Constitution saving throws.
Do I have disadvantage on that then, or is it just checks?
It's just checks. Saves is at level 3 exhaustion.
Okay.
Got a 19.
7.
And you all get a bonus from being near Victoria.
Of +4.
I got a 23.
Rue
Tommy.
is the one that takes the worst of this. Rhubarb. You cast a level 4 spell.
Mm-hmm.
That is 24 points, this time psychic damage, that rends through the air as that brief moment, that collapse, gives way to a burst of energy that rips through the memory. Thus, Hugh, Victoria, you are shunted up into a seated position as you are thrown from the falling city. Rue. Takes a little bit longer for you to wake up, as that pain pulses in your head. But it's no more than just a few seconds. And when you come to seated, you see your friends are all looking around. And Demelin is looking over you.
Are we in her apartment, or are we still in the city?
Looking around as you take in your breaths, you are greeted by a stench of must and decay. You see a ruined apartment, just like you had before you had gone in. You can feel now alert, the adrenaline coursing through you. It has burned off whatever sedative you had been given. But you are back at the apartment, and it seems that the test has been concluded. You feel weary as if you had just run, as if you had just taken attacks, but looking down at your arms, your hands, you see no signs of where you had just been.
What? Don't understand.
The
Is this
test,
good or a bad thing?
the test concludes. You've done, Rhubarb, what I've needed to see.
Was that Anyari?
It was the fall of Anyari. As she stands, and she'll hold her hand out towards you, Rhubarb, to have you stand to your feet as well.
Rhubarb will, like, weakly pull himself up to his feet.
You used your magic to defend balance. Whether that is for ill or for good does not matter. But there must be both in this world. And as she says this, Rhubarb, you can see, and the rest of you can see this as well, a shifting of the clothes. All of Rhubarb's attire begins to almost ripple like a sped up changing of the autumn leaves, becoming these different intonations of a red coloring. As you now have red robes, signifying you as a mage, high sorcerer.
I love this color.
Welcome to the Order, fellow mage of high sorcery.
Thank you. She's wearing red too, huh?
Demelanie is a red-robed mage, yes.
Oh. She's like one of my kind.
This will replenish you from your tests, and she'll provide 4 more potions. These ones are a where the others were a sort of sickly green, these are like a mud brown, just as thick.
I mean, heck, at this point, I'm drinking it.
Yeah.
You do not.
Like, I kind of want to use my herbalism background to like see if I can suss out what it is, but I'm still drinking it.
Yeah. Hard to suss out what it is. It seems perhaps an ancient recipe. But what this will do, it will heal any missing HP and any expended spell slots. Other things that you might have gotten are used, such as charges of certain replenishable things do not come back, but this will at least give you back some of your strength.
So I can get back my spell slots, but if I used like I used Misty Step, it was a use ability,
Yeah,
not
like-
a spell slot ability.
Right. Feature uses are gone, but if you utilize them.
Sorcery points are gone.
Mhm.
And I get back all my HP.
And you get back all your HP.
Am I still exhausted?
No, I'll say the exhaustion goes away. That was a memory exhaustion.
Oh, okay. I'll take it either way, but I'll take not being exhausted. That's cool. You just gotta let me know how to roleplay that. That's all. If I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I got you. Now that you have gained access to new powers, whether that is confidence in yourself or confidence of others in you, Your business in my dwellings, no more. Anyari awaits, as do those parasites that dwell in its corpse.
Yeah, do you have any information about where we can find these parasites, you call them? Who they are, what they are?
I know not who they are. I know that they do not care for the history. They show much the same hubris as we have. I do not interact with them, so I could not find them, but I can tell you of the city, at least how I remember it.
Right, yeah, I mean, any information you have.
She'll, share that she has seen, that she doesn't know who the invading forces are. She's already mentioned that, but she will say that she has seen some of their movements. There are patrols of soldiers and monsters in the city. Much of their activity is focused at the city center, a place she calls the Threshold of the Heavens. There's also a sizable mansion that she has noticed troops frequently coming and going from. It lies along the road to the Threshold. She suggests it could be a command post. And then the she gives a general explanation that you are entering into a crater filled with ruins. The northwestern district had, it seems, punctured some subterranean aquifer when it crashed. The streets are flooded. Fire raged through homes in the southwestern district. The pleasure gardens of the west are now nothing more than an untamed jungle, descendants of the monstrous menageries hunt amid vine-choked streets. The eastern blocks lie propped against the crater, the whole district tilted.
Pleasure gardens, huh?
Now we know why Rue's not tired anymore.
I was thinking like Hugh would want to go there and like find the various fauna and see what he can conquer.
Not that sort of pleasure garden.
Okay, so out of character, maybe I losing sight of why we're here. Are we here to deal with Lord Soft Stuff, or were we here to screw over their command?
Column A, column B.
Oh,
I think it was
so
both, yeah, right? They said that like
Lord
Soth
Soth
was
is present here, as are command figures.
I thought
like a
someone told
mage.
us that that we needed to look in like a temple for
Uh,
Soth.
no.
Oh,
So what the temple was is that Demelin knew of your Dragonlance, the cursed Dragonlance of
oh,
Sarlemere,
jeez, how did I mess that up? Yes, yes.
and that if you wanted to seek out the Temple of Paladine, it is in the northeast, and that could reveal why the god has returned the lance to Anyari.
Right. Um. Okay, so but to the others, so maybe we want to to go to disrupt their command post?
Aren't we supposed to be finding something? Stealing oat from under sauce before he finds it?
I thought that the Kalaman army or someone was asking us to like take out the leaders,
Yeah, I thought that was the command post side of things,
defeat
like
the
the
dragon
command
army
side of
leaders.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
Could be. You said what had been given to you is just the information that the people are here. It was said that if you could find them and take care of them, that would do well for the army, but it wasn't like a direct order.
So we didn't have a direct order. It was just like get in there and
Get in here, and this will help us out tremendously, as well as screw them over.
Right. So just cause chaos, basically.
Okay. So I do wish to deal with the Dragonlance, but which I think, well, we don't actually know if it has anything to do with Soth, but when we were pursuing him is when we picked it up, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Or running from him, either way. But I also know. Well, okay, we were told that the temple was in like the northeast or something, right?
Yeah, she mentioned that it's in the
And
northeastern.
is the command post on the way?
Let me double check.
Let's see. Command post is in
Getting two birds stoned at once.
is the mansion on the way to the threshold, near the threshold of the heavens.
So, not quite. I'm looking at the map here. You can definitely go to the mansion and then get to the temple. But if you were trying to do a direct cross, I'll get you guys a map here very shortly. But you would hit the center before you could get to the northeast, where the temple district is. So
Okay, what do you
Is the center the threshold of the heavens?
yes, that is the center of the city.
Yeah, Victoria, I think we do need to get you to that temple, but it seems like the dragon army is between us and it.
Mm-hmm.
One way to know for sure. Have to enter into the city.
Yes.
If you are set to leave, there's a door into Melon's apartment that opens to a path leading out to a street in a once glittering city. If there's nothing else you have for the Elder Mage, you are able to set out.
Brew will thank Demelin too, just like he would have thanked Wyan before he sets out.
The glittering city of broken domes and jagged towers stretches out before you. The nearby buildings and streets slope down into the basin of a vast, ruin-filled crater. Your current vantage provides you a view of the entire city, some of its broken districts scarred by fire and flooding. Here and there, crumbled structures and massive rocks bob gently in defiance of gravity. At the city's center A delicate tower of sharp marble and graceful buttresses rise into the city sky. It's made all the taller by its rocky foundation, which you can see is floating off the ground.
Almost seems out of place with all the ruins around.
You should now be able to see the map that I just sent.
Oh yeah.
You are coming in off of the east side, so you can kind of see that sloping area. If you sort of enhance the visual, there is a not quite at the slope because that's more to the northeastern of the map. Right? No. Yes, northeastern. Northeastern version of the map, which isn't, of course, the northeast of the city. The city was once something else. There is a small cave opening, and I'll see if I can do like the remix thing here real quick to show you. So that way you guys know where you're at.
It's like, where's Waldo?
Yeah, hold on. There we go. I just
Where's
did the...
Cavo? Yeah.
That's where you're exiting out of.
Okay. You get lost names.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, there's the pleasure gardens. And the threshold of heavens is, oh, it's in like the northwest?
No, the threshold of heavens is that thing right in the center.
Oh. Oh, that's just like a
The
stylized picture, kind of like in the top right.
yeah,
It still stands tall like that?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
At the city center, the delicate tower of sharp marble and graceful buttresses. It rises into the sky and made all the taller by its rocky foundation, floating off the ground.
Cool.
And then if you guys look at the bottom left corner, it shows how it's in the sort of the crater.
Hell yeah.
We love a good map.
This is massive.
Yeah, it's part of a city.
It's like a mile, at least a mile in diameter, if not more.
Yeah, it's a big city.
Oh, I'm totally not used to this.
I was not aware they made cities this large. Any of you seen anything like this?
I mean, we've all spent time in Calaman.
I thought this was bigger than Calaman.
Yeah.
I do think that this would be bigger than Kalman, but I mean, Kalman itself is also a fairly large city. But yeah, I would say I think this one's bigger. I can just flip the maps real quick.
Like, where's the Calaman
What-
map?
What's it like in comparison to Waterdeep? I'm just wondering if Bass has seen a city this size before.
Well, let me pull up Waterdeep map as well. I'll just
What? What are
Calaman's
big?
tiny. The Calaman map is like,
And
the scale is 100 feet. It's probably, Calaman's probably like 1,500 feet across, something like that. Yeah, and this crater, 1,200 feet for the bar. Yeah, this is like probably like 5 or 6 times wider than Calaman.
Yeah, I think Kalaman is more of a tall city than a wide city because it goes up.
Nice.
Or nope, not what I wanted to do. Uh, Waterdeep. It is. Waterdeep's a little bit more condensed comparatively, so like probably similar, but Waterdeep's still smaller. Because this is only a fraction of the city. This is just the biggest fraction. So, as you all are looking out and taking in the sights here, you notice to the southwest, the crack of shearing stones that sounds from a distant temple. The grounds teem with troops. On the temple's roof, a figure holds aloft a scepter. And even from this distance, you can see a crackling, familiar violet flame. A moment later, a skeletal dragon scales the temple, unleashing a screech
Whoa.
echoing across the city.
Oh, where were we supposed to stop that?
It pauses before the figure, who climbs atop the undead terror's back. And together they rise into the air, circling the city, before flying south, out of sight. If you have a passive perception of 15 or higher, you undoubtedly saw Lord Soth. And even if you don't have that passive perception, you could be fairly certain you just didn't have that confirmation of seeing him. That's all.
Totally gonna tell Clistern that we saw a dragon.
Now I have to ask. Did you all bring the Fargab with you?
Yeah, I thought Vass had it. I could be wrong.
I usually oh wait though, hang on. I'm trying to think. I normally have it with me, but we were trying to sneak in. I can't remember if I said we were leaving it behind so that it didn't give away our position. I can't remember. But normally it's with me.
Then I'll say that, because this is just for us, even if you had said in a previous episode, we're going to leave it down to this moment, would you like to have it with you?
Well, the way you asked that question makes me think I kind of do.
It's up to you.
I mean, yeah, I guess it would be a way for Chatina to maybe let us know if like things got real bad for them.
It's funny that you mentioned Tatina.
Oh no,
So,
what happened to Chatina?
She's getting new inspiration for a new hair color based on the purple dragon that just flew out there and nuked the whole army.
there is a
I mean,
voice
yeah.
that cuts through the normal static. And, as you are hearing that static and then the voice cuts through, it is Tatina. Are you okay? And before you can even respond, she's continuing. We just saw something over the cliffs. God's cursed dragon skeleton. Look, we're retreating. The dragon army seems to be following. We'll keep them drawn out as long as we can. See if you can find whoever's in charge in there.
Okay, got it. Stay safe.
Yeah, you
Stay away
too.
from that thing.
Yeah, that thing, it was crazy.
It was free metal though, right? Free metal.
Really cool.
Look, if you want something
Shoot,
like
I've
it,
made
just
it
tell
through.
me and I'll make sure that we can get it after we're out of this battle.
It sounds great. We'll definitely talk.
You can just hear her making, I'm gonna need a lot of metal. So,
Who thought themselves that I can't figure out how to kill this now. I'll just put that away for later.
so. It seems that time pressure of the battle that you had felt before perhaps might not be so strong now, as they are able, it seems, to make a retreat and entice the armies to follow, giving you time to explore the city, maybe visit a temple of Paladine,
Yes.
investigate a house, see what's going on here. What drew the dragon army this far into the northern wastelands?
I thought it came to raise the Dracolich.
Maybe they did. You don't know for sure. You know that they were out here searching for power.
Oh, I thought someone told us that.
Maybe it was the scepter.
But
Well, they totally missed the mark because obviously Demelin was the power here, and we already found her.
yeah, you got cool new robes for it.
But now,
But we will come to you all being able to make your plan of how you enter into the city, and maybe even start to see the beginnings of your explorations after our upcoming ad break. So, stick with us. We'll be right back to continue our story of our courageous heroes. But before we head out, I ask that you let the ads run. They're important to us here at WRP. They help keep our games affordable. But if you want to directly support us, you can always do so through our Ko-fi. Link for that is on screen and in our chat room. These donations not just support us at WRP, they unlock awesome perks for the entire community. Perks that benefit everyone who play with us for the next month. They include special companions, double treasure, double XP, all sorts of fun things. A full list is available on our Discord, so head over there and check us out. And we will see you all very soon. We are back, and totally not talking about different food cravings. Gosh dang it, front board outing me. So you have the city of Lost Name, the fallen city of Anyari in front of you, or what's left of it. Lord Soth apparently has left. You don't know what remains of his forces, but at least he seems to not be a threat currently. That's not to say that you are left alone in the city, because there are likely still Dragon Army agents about. What would you like to do? Would you like to plan on a certain course of action? Investigate the mansion on your way to the threshold? Make your way towards the Temple of Paladine? You could investigate the temple to the south, too, either.
there's a temple to the south. Yeah. Oh, that was where Soth came out of, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's on the map, wasn't it?
That's that thing you thought was it's down at the bottom.
That thing with the little points on the sides. It all makes sense now, Faye.
It's like I'm drawing attention to certain things.
Rue is curious about this Temple of Paladine. I think mainly after the trial of high sorcery and this like Temple of Lunitari and it getting eaten alive and just knowing about, investigating and finding out temples of like other gods, ones that might be able to help be anti these dragon army and these evil forces. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, like maybe we might be able to find something there that will help. Maybe if we take that Dragonlance there, something will happen.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. And I'm curious about obviously the forces. I guess we could disrupt the forces and then go to the temple, but
Hit the mansion on the way to the temple.
They might not be expecting it right now if they see that the Calamon army's retreating.
oh, good point.
I will say, just from this taking the moment to plan, based on the information that Demelin has given you and what you're able to see of the city, you can kind of piece together the sort of fractured orientation. So, what she said is the eastern district is the northeastern district for you. So it's kind of on a skew, and I can draw what Demelin's interpretation of north is here in a moment. But just so that way you are aware, you're able to make those adjustments to what information she's given to you with what you're able to see.
She said the northwest was flooded and the southwest was fire ravaged. You can kind of see that on the map.
Yeah. Um,
The west was the gardens, yeah.
yeah. It was kind of a little skewed, from some of the things that she said, regarding certain locations. But you have all the locations kind of mapped around with what she said and what you're able to know. So you have the information and it's accurate. Just by taking the time and talking with me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oops.
what uh what would you like to do? Would you like to head down towards the threshold using what few remaining connections there are? Try to perhaps see this mansion on the way towards the threshold. Investigate that Temple of Paladine. Where would you like to start your progression?
Victoria's AFK.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good.
Um, Go ahead. Roll for me a perception check as well.
Is this everyone?
Yeah, this is as you've been kind of talking and planning. So you all are able to sort of spot this. Victoria and Vash catching the details of the army patrols that move throughout the city. 3 areas you see have, it looks to be the most amount of activity. That center spire, the tower that rises in the center of the city, you see has several dragonelles and smaller flying figures around it. And that the foundation floats, it looks dozens of feet off the ground. There is from down on the path, you see the what must be the mansion that Demelin had spoken of. There are small patrols that come and go from it, and it's a third of the way across the city from where you're currently at. And at the south end of the city, the Sinister Temple, its grounds are teeming with soldiers. You probably don't want to go against what might be its own smaller army at this point.
No.
But there are 2 other areas that again seem to have some activity that might be able to give you some answers. Or if you want to try perhaps a smaller approach, you might be able to ambush some of those patrols. See if they can give you anything.
What would Ispen do?
I think he would attack a small patrol, and because he was strategic. And again, he did do that gnome catapult thing in his life, so maybe he'd just do something incredibly reckless. And for me, that's saying something.
We don't see any catapults around, do we, Faye?
No catapults or gnome flingers, unfortunately.
We need to find out what's going on here. Maybe we do hold off on your temple, Victoria, if that's all right. See if we can figure out what's going on here before the army decides to fully up and leave.
Well, a portion of the army's already gone.
Right.
Just that way you are aware.
We'll get there when we need to get there.
You think Paladine will make sure that happens?
I mean, he's not gonna poof us there. I mean, if we're just totally ignoring it, then it won't happen. But I think as long as we're trying, we can't make a bad decision.
So, my understanding is that you are using those connections to the south of you to make your way across the city.
Let's see. Connections. Yes.
And do you attempt to go to the mansion first?
Is that the thing immediately to the southeast of the central
Uh,
building?
I'll mark the mansion for you real quick, because it's it's unimportant in the grand scheme of the map, even though it is important to you guys. Alright, you should now be able to see which of them it is.
Oh.
Can we tell what that thing is if you draw a diagonal from your circle to the big thing in the middle? Like the big circle? There's like another building that looks kind of important that's a
Yeah.
really weird shape.
That's
Orange roof.
the orange roof? That's just a ruin.
Oh, okay.
It's just less ruined than the other ruins, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing, Caitlin. I thought that was the mansion.
Nope, the mansion's just a normal
Looks
building.
important. I'm interested in heading towards the mansion.
If we head toward the mansion, could we still try and ambush a patrol on the way, potentially?
You could. But the mansion has plenty of patrols coming in and out of it. So if you sneak up on the mansion, you might be able to not have to get into a fight with a patrol, as you might be able to sort of osmosis the information from that area. It's of course your call, but however you wish to approach this. Would you be like seeking out to try and ambush a small patrol, or would you just, if it happens, it happens?
I thought at one point. Sorry, Hugh.
To say we should probably keep our eyes out on the way.
Why don't we do it this way? Why don't we roll stealth checks to cover your movement through the city?
Why don't we?
The plus 8 modifier doesn't do anything for you when you roll a 3.
Ooh. As you begin to descend, you're looking around at this ruined city. One thing sort of amongst all the wreckage jumps out at you for a moment is the fault line. One of them. It's risen 10 feet, and you can see buildings entirely sheared in half. Destruction rampant. As your group moves through, overall, your stealth roll seems to be fairly good. What did Hugh get on stealth?
Oh, sorry,
No worries.
didn't hear that. I'm cutting out a bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had some issues.
20.
20, yeah, so your group does fairly well on your stealth check as you begin to move through the city. which means that as you are passing by this perhaps slightly terrifying sight, you're able to pass by it as you see a pack of ghoulish figures, feral humanoids almost, it looks like, gnawing on, it looks like a unlucky patrol of Dragon Army soldiers. Roll for me nature or arcana checks, please.
Ooh. Wah, wah.
Oh no!
Ranger with the 4 on nature.
I'm more of a killing nature thing than I am a appreciating nature than
Yeah.
nature.
It is Vax and Victoria that recognize these feral creatures to be ghasts, a ghoulish undead. And again, the pack is about 7 strong as they feast on the dead patrol. But luckily, your group seems to get by without drawing their attention. Vax, Victoria, do you alert your companions of what you had almost encountered?
Yeah, there's dangers in these ruins. Those are ghouls eating Dragon Army.
Yeah. Let's stay away from those.
Are they like vultures? Like, I see vultures eating corpses in carrion out in the wild. These are like humans eating humans.
No, they're undead.
Wonder if there's undead vultures.
Probably vultures in the bones of whatever undead thing tried to eat Vax.
Can confirm.
As you are now moving through to the getting closer to the mansion, do you wish to make any observations here? Pause, wait. Wish to try and stealth forward? Do you wish to disguise yourselves? What do you wish to do?
All the things. How long's this list? No.
I mean, well, Victoria will lean into Hugh. Is there a way in? A sneaky way in?
Is there I have to look for one, or I could make a sneaky way in by casting every DM's favorite, breaking the bounded accuracy. I'll pass without trace.
Yeah, if you want to do pass without trace, go for it. So we've got, before we have you for sure cast that, if anyone else perhaps wants to do anything here, in addition to the pass without trace that will be happening, you are welcome to do it.
Can I take a longer look at this mansion?
Sure. What are you looking to glean from this longer look? Because right now it's not like you're right at the exterior of it. You're still a few blocks away. But this is like if you had wanted to cast any sort of illusion magics, this is out of the way enough that you wouldn't be caught, which is why I'm having you last moment if you wish to do anything here. This is like your point of no return, almost.
Yeah, I guess I just want to know if, as we've been approaching it or as we've been watching it from where before we started off, have we noticed a pattern in the troops that we've seen coming and going from here? Is there
Um,
on a regular like rotation?
I'm gonna say, with this longer look, give me an insight check.
Okay. 19.
It doesn't seem to be any sort of strict pattern or regiment. Of course, there's probably smaller things that you're not quite aware of, not being part of the Dragon Army, but it's not like every hour there's a new one coming in, or smaller than an hour, because you're not. It's probably taking an hour to look at this. But they just kind of come in and go out, and they're smaller troops. They're like groups of 5 or 6 figures. They're not full platoons or anything like that. Then, as you cast Pass Without Trace, you are able to get forward, get closer. We're going to have stealth rolls here. Remember, you get a +10.
We'll be at 26.
17.
19.
32.
In the daylight, as you get closer, you see the patrols that come and go, both human and draconian. This manor house, partially intact, stands at the end of a row of ruins. Most of its east side has collapsed, but you see that the rest of the house has been cleared, made serviceable, and that in the southeast corner there is an attached carriage house, standing next to the front entrance. And as you're getting closer, there are, you see guards, draconians at the manor house. There's one on the carriage house, 2 upon the front door, and as you are looking around, I'm going to ask for a quick perception check.
The natural 20.
Oh man, I guess it's pretty fitting that Victoria got the 10.
Always.
That was the second natural 20 perception check I've gotten this session. It's the only times I've rolled 20s.
Alright, so Vass is definitely going to see this. What was Hugh's total? 23?
23.
Cool. So it is Vass and Hugh that spot this. There is a moment as one of the patrols opens the door to make their check-in that you catch the faintest glimpse of this figure as they are transported from one room to another in the manor house. And while you had normally seen her in her armor, it has not been so long since the last time you have seen Becklin,
I'm getting goosebumps.
who it seems has been taken prisoner and held here. And I think it is on that sighting that we are going to end our session.
Oh.
So, thank you to our players for playing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you to our viewers for viewing. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. I'll, of course, see you guys in our next stream. But until then, head over to willthewitch.com. Check us out there. Join us in our Discord to jump in a game yourself. Keep up to date with all of our announcements. And if you want to check out our VODs, we do have them on our YouTube. So thank you. And I'll see you guys later.